This is the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast. If you're looking to explore Sierra Leone and understand its culture and its people, you've come to the right place. On every show, you'll meet Sierra Leonean creatives and entrepreneurs overcoming challenges and beating the odds. They are artists, filmmakers, musicians, chefs, writers, storytellers, and designers leading Sierra Leone's orange economy, both at home and from the diaspora. I'm your host, Vickie Remoe, journalist, entrepreneur, and community builder on a mission to expand Sierra Leone's presence on the web. Hashtag Make Sierra Leone Famous. The other voice you'll hear on Make Sierra Leone Famous is sound engineer and producer Frank Bob McEwen at VRNC Marketing Company in Freetown, where this show is mixed and mastered. Now, make the show begin.
As an entrepreneur, I can say you are like all over the place. You have to do everything. When I started, I would just use my printer and host and just print, because for me, I'm always about transparency and integrity. Whatever the gonna be product, I want me the customer know waiting in the eat, because it's also important for health reasons. So many people get allergies. So what I used to do is just me on print and a host. I would just put Estu Delight, the name of my brand, and just the different ingredients. Then I just paste them. But then going on, I begin like follow other people the way they do similar thing in other countries, because like I said, when I started this, there was no one doing it. I don't sabi anybody we don't ever do smoothies and juices in this kind scale for like do delivery.
Welcome to another fabulous edition of the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast. Today, we are taking a bit of a detour. We've been having lots of conversation with creatives, people who create artistic work, either in music, film, or the arts, to make Sierra Leone famous. Today, we're taking a little segue down to Entrepreneurship Street, where I'm talking to a founder of a brand that is using agricultural products from Sierra Leone and to add value to them and make them into household consumables that you can enjoy and have in your kitchen, on your table. I tried her brand for the first time this December, and I was just like, it's hitting the spot and it's giving what it's supposed to give. It was really good. Today, I'm talking to the founder of Estu Delights, maker of fresh smoothies and juices, honey from Sierra Leone, and funde, aka fonio. Ladies and gentlemen, with me in the studio today is Haja Myers. Woohoo! Hi, Haja.
Thank you, Vickie. Hi, Vickie. Thank
How
you so
are you
much
doing?
for that introduction. I am fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like our first entrepreneur on the show. This is very, very important. Thank you for giving us this leadership to take us down entrepreneurship streets. Let me understand how this thing is so be. I they do. Okay, so my first thing is, I think a lot of people think about making products, right? All of us kind of like just driving around. You're like, oh, banana. I could make something with banana. Or, pepe. I could make something for pepe. But what was your go to Jesus moment, or that moment of that catalyst moment, that turning point moment for you that made you realize that, you know what? I actually want to do this, and I'm going to do it. What made you start making Sierra Leone products?
It was sometime in 2017. I've always had this idea of creating natural products, because I've always been big. So I tried to have health conscious meals as often as I could. So there was a time I was working in the fields. I was in construction industry. I was working in Kabbalah doing some road projects, and that was my first experience in actual rural areas. So I was quite fascinated by the amount of fruits and vegetables that we could find on our way. They were just literally all over the place. So we would just pluck them out, and I would have fresh fruits, fresh mango, oranges. So I was actually stunned. But then when we're in Freetown, we always buy all our fruits, all our juices from the supermarket, and we don't even know where these juices are coming from, and we're not even certain of the ingredients in these juices, and we're not even certain if they're actually natural juices as it's stated on the packages and things like that. So for me, I was like, you know what? I think there are a lot of people there that want natural products, but it's just difficult to get in the urban city. So that's how it started for me. So it was mostly for my family, and we started making smoothies at
Okay,
home.
so you were in Kabbalah and you basically just saw a lot of produce. Like there was just a
Yeah,
lot of produce and
yeah,
it just came to you that you could turn this into a business.
yeah. So that's how it started. Yeah.
But how did you start? I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, this would be a good idea. But what did you do? What were the steps that you took? What was like the first batch of products that you made?
So for me, because I love smoothies, I love juices, I love natural products. We drink honey every day at our house with my family. So we used to buy imported honey. So it was quite easy to adapt natural products. So then I started making the smoothies for friends and family. So I would make for my husband and I'd be like, oh, this is nice. And everyone loves the smoothies. So the first batch, I think, if I can remember, is I started taking them to gym classes. I was part of body tech. So whenever I'm done with aerobics classes, I'll just take the smoothies there and I'll be like, oh, I have fresh juices and smoothies. I wanted to test the market because, smoothies are not traditional beverages here. So, and the reception was quite good. Everyone was like, oh, today you not bring smoothies, today you not bring juice. So that's how it started for me. So it was just like 10 bottles, 15 bottles, 12 bottles here and there. And then we started going out to events. I think the first big event for us was at Madeng. So we did Madeng and it was a hit. And everyone wanted to try smoothies because I know when I started, few people were like, this then I still drink though. We not think say people how much people want for buy how much people want for buy fruits there for 15,000 or 20,000 mix fruits there. People are not sabi this kind of thing here. So but what I did was so many people advised me, oh, just blend everything from home and take it to the exhibition. But I wanted people to actually see what was going in their cups. So we took all the produce to the exhibition and we started making the smoothies. And I saw lots of concerns, lots of inquiries. People wanted to know. There were so many people that it was the first time for them to actually try the smoothies. And everyone was like, oh, this is really nice. I didn't know it's possible to have smoothies here. Because whenever you get to the hotel, supermarket, or restaurants, some do natural smoothies, but most of them they used packaged juices and just mix whatever. It's not 100% fresh fruit. So for me, I was actually trying to change that narrative that it's possible to have fresh fruits, smoothies and juices with all the healthy nutrients in it. So that's how it started.
The Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast is made possible by Dot Blue. With its certified air freight service, Dot Blue is the easy and affordable way to ship to Salone from the US or from the US to Salone. No need to wait till someone is going home. Dot Blue will deliver your next package to Sierra Leone in 15 days or less. To ship with Dot Blue, contact us on WhatsApp on +1 240 460 2056 or +232 88 313 330. In Sierra Leone, you can find our office at 17A Wallace Johnson Street in Freetown. Fly and go with Dot Blue. We go deliver for you. DOTBLEU.com. Okay, so like I mean, one of the things, I don't know who I was talking to in another one of these conversations, and they were saying that, like, oh, it was an artist who said that when they wanted to start an exhibit to curate art, the first thing people said was like, oh, people here are not going to be interested in this. Like, Sierra Leoneans are
Mm-hmm.
not interested in art. So,
Mm-hmm.
don't be surprised if people don't like it, because we not get Sanayaso. So really, this not to, like, it's for
Yeah.
other people, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting that, like, this is like, it's a theme in Sierra Leone. Whenever people want to try something new that is not available in the market, the response is always like, this thing is
Mm-hmm.
kind of not for us. It's for like those people over there. It's not for us.
Yeah.
This not to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a constant theme. But I think when people really have opportunities and they take advantage of an opportunity, like scarcity in the markets, or the absence of something in the market, is an
Yeah.
opportunity, right? If people that
It
not get
is.
it already, it means say possibility they follow you do it, like nobody else is doing it. So you can be first, you can be a pioneer, you can be the
Yeah.
person that makes that thing popular, you can be the person that creates the interest in it, right? When I started my TV show, I remember people used to tell me, they're like, oh, people are not, they do talk show now, will not get that snare. So people would I go on for watch talk show? What do you get for talk about safe? Do I left people? And yet here we are over
Yeah.
10 years later. Over 10 years later, we're still in the game.
Mm-hmm.
How do you source your products? What's the supply chain for you right now?
So we do mix, so we source from intermediaries, meaning from the markets, from Luma, or then we're trying to source directly now from the farmers, because we're doing in a very small scale, we're doing small batches, so it's a bit difficult to, when you think of the logistics, all the transportation costs, to actually pay for small produce from the rural area. So sometimes it's better to just purchase. They have these markets called Luma that's happening around somewhere in Buya or Mendi. They happen on Tuesday, so they have like huge produce that come together. Then you can just purchase from there, or sometimes we buy from the markets. But now we're moving to actually buy from the farmers because the demand is increasing. But supply chain is actually a major issue in the agriculture sector. And you want, the thing is that we always claim there's an abundance of fruits there, but then it's not available. Why is that a problem? Because mostly some of these farmers, it's difficult to work with them. As a small business, you have to invest a lot in stock, because most of the farmers, they've gone into contract farming with like big buyers. So maybe they've supplied them with input supplies, they've helped them with brushing and all of that. So they've committed their farms to big buyers. So it will be difficult for you to establish that relationship. But we're getting there slowly, where we've had some relationship with pineapple farmers and see how we can source from them directly, because that's the vision of our business. We actually want to impact farmers, and we're saying we want to go from farm to table. So actually I'm trying to help with post-harvest losses, because most of the time they harvest this produce, they don't have the markets, they don't have immediate off-takers. So these are the things we're trying to work on right now.
Okay. So yeah, it's interesting to hear that we don't have as many fruits, right, as we think that we do. I think because, like, when you go, sometimes you see in the market, right? If you're not in
Mm,
manufacturing and you're not producing, when you go and you
mm,
see mangoes everywhere, you're like, oh, we get boku, hey, mango then boku,
mm,
we get this, we get
mm,
that, we get that. But if
mm.
you're actually producing and you need large volumes, I've had people
Yeah,
who were in the coffee business say this. I've had people who were in the even in the rice business.
yeah,
When people talk about local rice, like, oh, why aren't we? Everybody should eat local rice. Everybody should eat local rice, but we're not yet producing enough to feed the whole country. So even if everybody wanted to eat local rice, we don't have enough local rice to feed the country, right? So even the
exactly.
production,
Yeah.
yeah, like the production side of things, Tell me a bit about what you know about the state of kind of farmers in Sierra Leone. I know that most of the farmers in Sierra Leone are like subsistence farmers, like, household farmers, but the ones that you guys source from, or that you're trying to source from, what is their size or their capacity? Who are these people who are doing large scale farming in Sierra Leone? And where are they?
So, like you rightly said, most of the farmers they're working on subsistence and small scale, and most of them is just small family farms. A clear example is when I started processing sugarcane. So there was this farm somewhere in Waterloo that we found, and this is after I've contacted the Minister of Agriculture with the Extension Division. We did the scoping to see where we can get some sugarcane from Western rural area, and that was one of the sites that was allocated that they have huge sugarcane. And when I started buying from the farmer, it was within 3 weeks, everything at the farm was, I was able to absorb the whole farm and there was nothing left. So, and that's the case in most
Wow.
places.
3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks. The whole farm, because,
Daddy business
yeah,
business done.
and I know so, because mostly it's less than 1 acre. In some places, it's maybe
Right.
8 town lots, 7 town lots, because they do not really know the value. We do very limited value addition here. So the old man was like, oh, I tell you, thank you. This sugar cane here, pass in the cotton, they go sell our 1,000 a market. But now they can buy it in bulk, at least I go able to see me money, or they're picking the can cut and the jam chairman. So now he wants to grow more,
Right.
and I'm willing to support him to do like a large scale, then I can be his own off taker. So now he has a ready market. So that is the kind of impact we are looking at. So it's the same in most places. Then we went to Bo again. There was in Kenema, there was another place I was buying. They were like, oh, this is one of the best areas. They have lots of sugarcane, they have lots of fruits. In one time, they could not supply me anymore because their productivity is quite
Wow.
low. So, yeah, so these are some of the
Yeah.
issues. There are few plantations around, but most of them need some rehabilitations. And those with big
Okay.
plantations, like I said, are already committed to big companies. We have like two big companies in the fruit and vegetable sector, the
Yeah.
Sierra
The
Juice and the
ecosystem.
Sierra.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most
Mm-hmm.
of them have already committed, so it's a bit difficult to try to get them on board. But so for
Yeah.
a small scale business with limited resources, how do you spread your resources across the supply chain when at this time you're just trying to grow your business and
Yeah.
focus on the marketing side? The processing and marketing side, now you have to think about supplier relationship, you have to think about logistics, because let's say even with all the contractual agreements, when it's time for harvesting and you're not there to pay and collect your produce, they will sell it to someone else, because it's not just about
No way.
yes. It's not just like we have to also acknowledge that these are poor farmers, so they need the money immediately. This is their daily subsistence. So it's a tricky
God.
one.
The radio broadcast of the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast on Radio Democracy 98.1 is made possible with a generous grant from the Asma James Foundation. The Asma James Foundation empowers women and girls with mentorship, scholarship, and life skills training. To make Sierra Leone better for girls and girls in Sierra Leone better, visit the Asma James Foundation at asma, that's ASMAA, james.com. And now, let's go back to the show. Managing those relationships sound like a nightmare. I thought trying to get my clients to pay my invoices was a problem. This is like a whole other kind of problem that I don't even know. No, because I think
Yeah.
the person who owe you money when you don't get contract with somebody the way now you clients, when I get a contract, you know, so even with, but then farmer then sometimes a verbal contract or verbal agreement, but sometimes the same way in ready for sell, you not call them, info not be get support, other person carry the want the money. I mean, how do you even plan? I don't know. How do you plan production with such risks? Because these are
Volatile,
that's like,
yeah.
oh
It's quite volatile.
God.
It's a volatile market because really inventory management is a big issue. So for me, Nadameko, I start from
How do you mitigate
websites.
for that? I mean, on the fonio side, okay, I understand fonio is like has long shelf life, right? On the honey side as well, honey kind of has a long, relatively long shelf
Yeah,
life.
it
But
does.
on the fruit side, how do you manage? I mean, fresh fruits where you get for una they make una juice today for sell and today for late person drink within like 72 hours because now they add any preservatives for the smoothies. How are you even in this business? Like, I don't even understand the stress level. Because how do you have consistency? If the relationships with the farmers are so like volatile, like you say, how do you mitigate for that in your business, which is like a fresh smoothie business? I mean, the customer they not get for even understand. You're not going to tell the customer say, oh, that farm Musa, we don't go, we don't talk. They may say they give me 10 bag. Yesterday we'll go there. The man said that person don't can take 6 bag. So now 1 bag left. So that's why there's no pineapple. There's no pineapple ladida. I mean, how do you even have that? So how do you mitigate for that as an entrepreneur in this like health and I mean healthy foods and
Wellness
like
brand.
fresh
Yeah.
food market?
Yeah, it's quite challenging. It's really a challenging business, but it takes time. Like I say, you get for try for building events, you get for try for land for know your market. So we buy in small batches for now because then it's just left the supply side. You have infrastructural problems also. You have to think about storage. You need like deep freezers. Then you have to think about electricity. So then the lights not there.
Oh,
So
Ezra is in the mix. Ah, the game, the
so
game. Game day Yagba.
exactly. Too much yagba. The game gets too much yagba. So
Yep.
with
Hey, you know I'm pull on. This is the problem. You know I'm pull on.
no, you
Esther back
can't.
there in the mix for the
You
lights.
can't, and
Oh,
we
child.
won't, because that is where the opportunity is. I would say Estu Delights are a
Okay.
pioneer for health and wellness brand in a salon. But this it's possible because we've seen it worked in other places. With us here working in other Africa countries, the way where they don't start that kind of business there so 10 years ago and the people also don't go through the similar challenges there. So I think with time, with building that kind of relationship there, so eventually it will get better. Like I say, when we start, it be difficult for get most of the produce them. Now we dey get farmers them and we dey try for go into vertical integration. We get we own farm on we own, or we self dey try for develop. Because if you get your own farm, then you are assured of consistent and
Can you
quality
break
supply.
down? Can you break? I'm sorry, we are not in the agriculture sector. Could you please explain to us, myself included, what
Okay,
vertical integration means? Not can be
so
it to
it
go.
means
Also, because you go school means that you can't confuse me with big words. What is vertical integration
this
as it
all are part
relates
of the
to
yagba.
your
This
own?
all are the yagba. So it simply means say I want to make a get fresh and quality produce all the time. For make her able for sustain me supply chain, I not go always able for depend on external suppliers. That they mean say I forget me own source. And one part my own source can be I forget my own farm where I dey develop and within I may control. So if I get that my own farm day, I can able get my own produce there anytime I want her, and I can also able manage the quality in the farm there. I can able get like the good agricultural practices there and ascertain say waiting at the cell na actual organic thing there. Because we almost say we are faced with different issues.
Okay.
People that they use GMOs, fertilizers, and all the kind of thing that they. But we they promote health and wellness, and we they try for keep all we produce there organic. So nadane, so vertical integration meaning say at the
So
control of the supply chain.
So you're
Yeah.
basically, so yeah, okay, I get it. So like you are, instead of depending on external sources for all of your supply,
Supplies.
you also are basically, it's like an additional supply chain that you're creating for yourself within the
Exactly.
existing one to kind of stabilize your, okay.
Yeah.
It's
And
like multiple revenue
mitigate
streams,
the
only it's not
yeah.
revenue that's coming in, it's like, it's not revenue, it's like produce, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How have you been able to, because the other thing that a lot of entrepreneurs in the sector complain about is like branding and packaging. How have you been able to basically get the right packaging for your products? How did you start out trying to get the right packaging or the right branding? What was that journey like?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I can say you are like all over the place. You have to do everything. When I started, I would just they use me printer and host and just print because for me, I'm always about transparency and integrity. Whatever they're gonna be product, I want me the customer know waiting in the eat because it's also important for health reasons. So many people get allergies. So what I used to do is just me on print and a host. I would just put Estu Delight, the name of my brand, and just the different ingredients. Then I just paste them. But then going on, I begin like follow other people the way they do similar thing in other countries because, like I said, when I started this, there was no one doing it. I don't have anybody we don't ever do smoothies and juices in this kind scale for like do delivery. So so I started so Sunday, I mean then later now I get for find like a graphic designer that I had to start together with so that I go Pinterest or Google, find different design there. Then I sit down to make graphic designer, we get for build everything together. So for me, that was the where I started. So I get for sit down with a graphic designer, build me logo, saying that this I want before ever. I get to the stage where I begin for outsource them to post one or say disabled though. I say, okay, no, I think this is the time I want a professional logo. So they do me professional logo. Then also me marketing, as you can see me online, still not get social media again, but but I'm trying with the social media because I know it's quite important, especially we when I just delivery they do. So I be try to get a small company also way for manage me marketing because like I say we do in a very small scale, so I cannot afford a big marketing budget at this stage. But then also you will just have to try to manage because you want your presence to be felt online. That is where most of my customers are. We get interestingly, I mean, facing most of my customers and are just millennials, but all people are warming up to the product because they have the purchasing power and they want healthy beverages. So we try for see how we able mix that traditional and digital marketing space. So for me, it's been a trial for me. Like I say, I've always had this idea since let's say 2015, 2016, and 2018 we actually become like an actual business, registered business. Then the corona, we took a break. So now just last year again, we begin like full scale production. I have my employees, about 3 to 4 staff there now. So it's been like a trial period. And for me, I think I understand the markets now and I know where I'm going. Yeah.
We will be right back after this short music break.
Hey. 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 Master. Hey.
Back then when we start, nobody no understand.
Now God's plan what we made from the sand. From the feet we they take to the stand. With the hope say we reach out the land. Everybody don't dress for the occasion. Let we meet at the location. Got in wheel now for move, waiting don't go around. No need for come around, we not leaving the rotation. Yeah, won't free with the flow, then not get free. Now we back, let them talk and debate me. We not go able to do side and hate me. We not go able to wait till we wait me. Never enough, we take test us. Whatever we do, we stay blessed. I know when we arrive, we gon' turn up. When we arrive, we gon' flex. We didn't move, we didn't move, we didn't move. God in people, then they move. God in people, then they move. We didn't move, we didn't move, we didn't move. God in people, then they move. We not get nothing else to prove. God in people, then they move.
That was Drizzlick with Exodus. And now, let's head back to the Make Sailing Famous podcast.
What is the one sureball way that people like find out about your product or experience your products? Like when you are reaching out and marketing your products, what's the most effective and efficient way for you so far? What's been the one way that you're like, okay, when I put this product out like this, or when people taste it here or do this, they always give me this kind of feedback? What works the most for getting this product into people's hands?
Now it's one-to-one. It's on selling directly to customers. That has been the best approach now, but then now we're trying to move to B&B, business to business, because that's the way we think we can actually scale up. So now we're just doing WhatsApp status, and we do a lot of Instagram and a bit of Facebook here and there. But for me also, it's based on recommendation. So many of our clients say they would deliver a person in office. Word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. Then people will be like, oh, we don't try this smoothies. We don't even know say this kind of thing in a salon. I want for try them. Or something then a certain office, person just bumped in, oh, they do this kind of thing, so I want for try them. So mostly it has been word of mouth. And of course, the digital spaces also help with WhatsApp and the Instagram. That's help a lot, yeah. But we're trying to see how we can move into the B&B space, yeah.
Do you think that there is like this? I know that you didn't go to school to be an entrepreneur, right? Like when you 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it wasn't in your plans that you would go into entrepreneurship, and definitely not in this sector. Do you think that there is an emerging trend in Sierra Leone where people are embracing, at least of your generation, are embracing entrepreneurship in a new way?
Yes, I think so. I think, in fact, it's a new cool thing. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur now. I can assume, I don't even know. It's a lot of work, but I think people are not actually creating products; they are just selling things into trading. So I see lots of trading going on instead of actually trading instead of actually developing and creating unique products and focusing on niche markets. I don't see a lot of that, but I think it's building up. Yes, I think the entrepreneurship ecosystem it's building up. It was not like that even 5-8 years ago when I started. I've started doing business since I was in college. I think I've always had this business acumen in me, from just moving from selling clothes to construction so I just, and most of the things I've done, it's out of passion and out of the need to just provide services to people. Yeah.
Right. No, I definitely think that you're totally right about how there was a time in Sierra Leone where, and it wasn't that long ago, where especially people who were educated, if you're educated, especially if you've been to college, that the idea of you then doing business was kind of not something people respected. It was like, if you don't go to school, waiting like na office you forgo. Like there was like this set path of like, okay, you go college, you get your degree, for fen work, go na office. And there was a little bit of like a I would say a negative connotation or association with, like say if you they do business now because you're not able to make other thing, like like you
Yes.
go school, you're not able to get work, then at that make
Yeah.
now you get for start business because you're not able for really do the thing way for make you successful. So now
Successful.
like it's like a lower it's
Yeah.
like a lower, like yeah. So
Yeah.
that culture is there, and then I've also noticed that there's a thing where people are, especially now, the educated class, right? The educated class of people, millennials, people realizing that maybe instead of I come sit in this office, they wait for 3 million every month or 4 million every month. That like I try to do business. And that's why those who are adding value beyond trade, like yourself, you stand out because, yeah, people are doing business also, but very few people are going this long path of creating something, creating
Yeah.
a brand and go. I mean, already you can tell why, because even as you did talk, all of these moving parts to create value, not easy, easy.
Mm-hmm. It's
But I'm
a
glad that at least things are shifting, that people are embracing
mm-hmm.
business, because now from trading you left, you go for other team. You understand what I mean? But at least
Exactly. Yeah.
that commercial activity, indigenous
That buy
Caribbeans
and
getting into
sell.
business,
Yeah.
it yeah, it's kind of getting into our system. We're not just leaving it to like the Lebanese, the Indians, and the
Yeah.
Fulanis, but we're also kind
Yeah.
of like taking an active role to say, okay, business are for all man. Anybody can do business, and it's not a class thing. It's not like,
Yeah.
it's not a class thing. It's just like it's an
Yeah.
opportunity, and it's an opportunity in the market. Um, who are some of the people, or what are some of the like organizations that are currently providing support? People, organizations that are providing support to entrepreneurs like yourself. Like, where do people? Somebody's listening right now, and they're an entrepreneur, and they're looking for support, either business support or I don't know, money, whatever,
Yeah.
resources, the broad frame of resources.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where should they go? Like, what are the available resources?
Yeah, so we have few, like, the entrepreneurship ecosystem 3, 4 years ago was still at the nascent stage, just beginning, but now we have lots of business support services around business support institutions. So you can look from the government side and from the private sector side. So let's say from the government side, you have SMEDA, Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency. They have different schemes. Like there was this scheme last year called the Munafa Fund, wherein they were supporting small businesses
Mm-hmm.
with some loan, I think about 10 million, 50 million grants, but that's something, right? That is something someone can always use to start, to actually formalize your
Yeah,
business, do all your incorporations and things
absolutely.
like that, which is quite important to do your quality test if you're in the food sector. And you have, there are different projects, there are ongoing projects that are being funded by the World Bank, but then being implemented by different ministries and agencies. For instance, if you are working in the food sector, there is a project at the Ministry of Trade and Industry. It's called the Sierra Leone Agribusiness Competitiveness Project. They have like a whole component where they support SMEs with grants, and they also support them with business development services, which is quite useful and important, because I always say SMEs and entrepreneurs, whenever you ask for challenges, access to finance is the utmost thing everyone will be crying about. But really, after so many diagnostics that we've done in these sectors, we've noticed that it's about skills development, it's about human resources. So if you can get into a program like this where they offer like business development services to actually increase your business capacity, because whatever money, whatever grants you are going to gain at the end, you need the capacity to be able to implement activities and manage that fund.
be right back after this short message from our brand partner, the Dollhouse Boutique. The Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast is supported by the Dollhouse Boutique, an American household brand for one-of-a-kind fashion and bespoke creations. Find your next stylish look at shopdollhouseboutique.com. We have stores in Baltimore, Maryland, and Los Angeles, California, showing the best of local designers. Our first international fashion boutique opens in Sierra Leone in 2022. Until then, find us on Instagram at Dollhouse MT Vernon. That's Dollhouse MT Vernon. And now, make we go back to the show.
There's another ongoing project called the Economic Diversification Project. It mostly deals with, I think, the Ministry of Tourism. So for SMEs in the tourism sector, light manufacturing. So these are opportunities where you can tap into. They have their applications. It's mostly online. I think they just had a call for application.
Okay.
It was popularized all over the country, so it's open to all SMEs. So my advice to SMEs is to keep your ears out there and just try to network. We have also the local content agency. So be part of these kind of platforms, and these are the places where information gets shared, and you will get to know if something is happening in your sector or where you can tap into different opportunities, what meetings you can attend, and yes. And these resources are out there, yeah.
Man, this is so amazing. I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because I think that
and just to
a lot of
point out,
people
sorry,
don't know.
Vickie,
A lot of people don't know where to go for help.
Sorry, just to conclude on the resources, I just mentioned few opportunities on the public side. So on the private side also, you have the innovation axis. They do lots of incubation and accelerator program. It's at Kingdom. I think you can always reach out to them. They've done quite some work in the ecosystem, and
Is
you
that
have
Steven somebody's?
Yes, Stevens George. Yeah.
Is Steven George,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, Francis Stevens. Sorry. Yes, Francis Stevens.
Yes, Francis Stevens. Yes, they do. They do the pitch night.
Yes, they do the pitch night and coded. They do like this markets. What is it called now? So there are different markets linkages platform that you can tap into. So I think the opportunities are out there is for SMEs to actually grab it and get involved. Just don't sit there and wait for funds. If you can scale up, try to scale up, try to attend these business classes, these pitch nights. I have pitched once with Francis in one of the women, I think it was Women Entrepreneurship Week or something like that. So it's very important as an SME to be part of these platforms. Yeah.
No, that's fabulous. Like you said, I know for a fact that like 8 years ago, there weren't these resources. And definitely 10, I mean, for the longest time, the only kind of business support that I knew of was, they used to do this thing called Business Bomba, which I think was a DFID funded grants program that gave, you would pitch your idea and then they'd help you through. I know a couple entrepreneurs who came out of that. Dr. Malvigo came out of that, the tea company, Dr. Ava, and then I know that there was like a cleaning company that came out of that. I think Unimax also might have come out of that. I think, Unimax, I'm not sure, but like, I know that like, that's for the longest time, that was like the only thing that was around to provide that kind of resources and support to help people kind of kickstart their entrepreneurship ventures or to scale. So I'm really glad to know that for someone like you and for other people, the sector is kind of evolved now in a way where you have enough resources. It may not be sufficient, but at least we're not at zero. Maybe now we're at like 4 or 5, which if you're like a really dedicated entrepreneur trying to build a brand, looking for resources, these are places that at minimum can provide you with some kind of support. I read the latest entrepreneurship. They did the ecosystem mapping for entrepreneurship in Sierra Leone. And just to speak to what you were saying about how a lot of people say that money is like the biggest thing. Like, you know, the minute you talk about you need people that know to get access to finance, but and so people don't seek business development opportunities. Tell if somebody will create something for like help you build your business capacity. If money not there, people they not they continue. Like, yeah. So it's they do media and money. If you they give money when I call we. And so oftentimes a lot of entrepreneurs will start out with the trainings, but they don't complete it because they're like, oh, money not in I ask for no ones. But it's also the reason why a lot of them don't grow, because if you're not able to learn how to operate business, how to run business, if you're not even able to understand technology, able to use technology for your business not will grow. No matter how great your idea be, it will grow to a certain point, but then beyond that, it plateau. You're not able to scale because you just in at this vicious cycle, Usai. You just in at that beginning stage. You know, like some people and then you go don't get business 5 years, 10 years, but you still in at that startup phase.
Yeah.
Because you're not able like inject any kind additional resources into your business for making grow. Okay. I mean, I know you do the juices and you do the fonio and the honey. Which came first? Which of the products came first? The smoothies, and how are they different, or how are the markets, the consumer markets different, or is it the same market? Because they're all kind of health products. But I want to kind of believe, like, I don't know if it's the same customer. Is it the same customer?
So it's related. It's the same product, and so it was the honey. We started with the honey. So because the honey, like you say, gets a longer shelf life, then we begin it was B&B, just distributing to supermarkets. Hotels and the kind of thing that is. So now we day in over 40 supermarkets and shops then, and not to just Frito, we dey Go, we dey Kenema, we dey McKinney, so they try for the all over the side. So it's
that
a bit
is
Italian.
Awesome. 40, you're in 40. Please let us discuss this moment, please. Don't talk when I'm talking about let us discuss this. Let this accolade receive this accolade, please. Let us talk about this milestone of your honey product. Estu Delight Honey is in over 40 supermarkets and shops across Sierra Leone, including Freetown, Bo, and McKinney, basically like nationwide.
Nationwide,
that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we were able to do this within 2 years.
Were you able? No, go ahead.
Yeah, so this we don't do within 2 years. Like I say, when I started with the honey, there were a few products on the shelves. And I think there were about 2 or 3 products on the shelves. And there was this new policy about made in Sierra Leone, local content, supply local content. So I think that was quite good for SMEs. Each supermarket, they have these shelves for made in salon product. So for me, that's how it started. So I personally would just walk up to the supermarket and the person I tell her, say, hey, I get honey for sale, or this now organic honey, we don't mix sense with nothing, I mean, if they drink na me host. And most of the time they were always skeptical about, all man they count honey now, but say the mix or this way, mix and that. Then I'll be like, okay, I would even show you my quality certification, because that is one thing I tried to do at the start. I did all my quality tests, and to actually ascertain and that I'm selling safe products to the market, because that is very, very important. Food safety is an important issue. So that's how then word of mouth, then one supermarket will recommend to other one. Like for instance, Freetown Mall will say, oh, you get really good honey, send them to Freetown supermarket. Then you go say, okay, we get where we other branch and send and that. So I think with time we don't able to build brand, but it was quite difficult. Especially with we know the one that we get these supermarkets now Lebanese them. So they don't use Strade for imports, they use honey them. Now the market, so at that time they will be just they use to take rubber, like the plastic bottle.
Don't get existing relationships. with their
existing
own
relationship.
importers them. Yeah.
Exactly. So how do you break that? But I think say that policy really play a role. And now because people are becoming health conscious,
The
you
local
see the
content
people
policy.
yes, the local content
Okay,
policy.
that's
I think say
fantastic.
that they
Yeah.
help. Yes. And people really now people actually they choose local honey and instead of
Yeah.
imported honey. And we don't get to
Yeah.
that stage now. Now we the force. Like all time I'll go for send me delivery guy. Oh, like we have to do like checks and monitoring after 2 weeks. Go check outside the honey, don't know made us make you supply them. But now they would actually call, hey, where people like Kayana,
Call.
Estu the light honey, no more they want to, because we've tried to build a brand with
Yeah.
consistency and the packaging was a lot of issue also. But when I change the package, then I get like these squeezable bottles and glass bottles. So that was really good. So when we begin, we'll be sell like let's say 2 batter, then we'll begin sell like 20-30 batter per month. So it's actually growing, and I think the space is getting competitive because now if you go to the supermarket, it's gonna be with three no more. Now we pass 5-6 people, they all want sell honey, But I think we've spent a lot of time to actually develop our brand and to ensure we're selling quality products out there. So all of the time I began for change the number and I'm in packaging. So a private number, people like, hey, but we not see you on in or we don't see you on it. So that actually gives me joy for me people like look for brand, so we not get people like the way they go, what's not honey, and then I rob and they just want buy them.
Like what you hear? Don't forget to leave us a review. Your reviews make it easier for others to find this podcast. Don't forget to share it with your friends and family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for me,
Absolutely.
it's about
No, absolutely. I
quality.
agree with you.
Yeah, quality and access. And I also ensure, say, like I said, this is something I'm really passionate about. And I want to make Sierra Leoneans, people are able to afford and able to access quality food. Now we right, not to say now for just elite or people the way they did na the upper class for buy good food or quality. Not so because of our drink honey, I for go buy that person in your street one not sure say you don't add sugar. But if I not for say this person in your brand name day, na the bottle in contact day, and a little story, I can always that traceability aspect. I can able to trace back for say, oh, I sabi this person, I sabi this brand where they buy to, and I know say that they offer quality something. So for me, actually, access into all other SMEs and the food sector for not just able up we game for actually sell quality food so we customize them because people anything when I made in salon even to the Benny where people what's not made in salon they go just tie and any kind plastic put on a
Yeah.
supermarket and it's sometimes so unsightly not to say people no one for support the business but not just because it doesn't look good and it doesn't look good so we get for try the aspects they also
I think it is a question of pride, right? But
yeah
ultimately, it's self pride and national pride, really. If I'm a person doing business and I have pride in myself and I respect myself, then there's a certain way that I will not present the things that I'm making and selling because I see them as an extension of myself, right? And then as a Sierra Leonean, also, if you come at it from that perspective, as a Sierra Leonean making a product in Sierra Leone, I also want to take extra pride in the fact that I'm making a Sierra Leonean product. I want it to look a certain way because even if it at some point it's just local, but we all need to have kind of our eyes on the global market. Honey is a universal
exactly
product. There's no reason why honey in Sierra Leone can't be exported and sold on Amazon. There's no reason why honey made in Sierra Leone can't be exported and sold on Whole Foods Market. And there's actually a Sierra Leonean entrepreneur in the U.S. who has a global marketplace for whole food and natural food products called Grovara. His name is Abu Kamara. And what they do basically is they take whole foods and natural foods and organic foods and get it into like their marketplace, so then they can get distribution for it into the US market and also globally. So the world that we live in now is this global marketplace. But like you said, quality is the most important thing, and then also the brand and making your product accessible. Like, yeah, we're always going to have like supply chain issues. You're always going to, I mean, look at right now, even we did on COVID, everybody has supply chain issues.
Everybody. True.
Supply chain issues are global. But if your product is the best it can be and you're always working to make it improve, supply chain issues or not, customers then go wait to get you products. Customers then go, even like some kind of thing in the way are so committed to the brand. If you know they are saying no ones, that's how much like loyalty having like a quality product or brand you can have with your customers, where they're like, oh, when I don't get honey, Estu delights honey, they okay with me, I know want. I go wait.
Yes,
and
I get
that's
that all the
yeah,
time.
and that's what people are doing. Oh, of course, quality. When I was in Sierra Leone in December, I drank a lot of, saying at COVID, you get for drink beaucoup of this like honey, ginger, this with the pepper. That's what we set in our house. So yeah, we sent to the supermarket and we were drinking Estu Delight. So I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah.
I think what you've done with the brand, because I remember when I met you, I feel like 2016 for the first time. I think you're just gone out of school and you were, primarily focused on the construction business. You were interested. Definitely, you've always had a head for business since the first time I met you when we had Recipes for Success, that business networking event. I've always really respected, like, people who are entrepreneurial, they just have a head for it. So it doesn't even necessarily matter what they do. They're just always looking for opportunity. They're always looking for ways to add value. And I feel like you've definitely been that kind of person. So I'm so proud to see how you've scaled Estu Delights in really no time at all. Like, if you really talk about it, like, you've really grown really fast. To be in over 40 stores nationwide is no easy feat. And you clearly also have developed a large expertise in the sector. So I hope that other people who are listening and looking to grow, they can come to you as like their godmother. If you be godmommy of like processing. Okay, so thank you so much for making the time to come on the show. I now want to invite you to my favorite part of the show, which is called On the Six. This is the fast fire section of the show. I am going to ask you 6 questions and you have 6 seconds to answer. And I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. I don't want you to take too long. There are no wrong answers. You have all the right answers. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast, On the 6 with entrepreneur, founder of Estu Delights, On the 6 with Haja Myers. Here's your first question. What is your favorite Sierra Leonean parable or expression?
Soup sweets na money killing.
Girl. Okay. I like it. That's right. Okay, next one. In 2 sentences, tell me the plot of the last movie you watched.
What was the last movie I watched? When last did I watch a movie?
Time is running. Time is money.
What was the last movie I watched?
All right, we're moving on to the next question. What song are you playing on repeats right now?
Exodus by Drizzly.
Yay! We love Drizzly on the show. All right. What's one thing you've been meaning to do that you still haven't done?
I want to launch the mobile bar. I want to launch Estu's Delights mobile bar. So that is what I'm looking forward to. And I think Sedan there for that one since last year. It's still not here. So yeah, the Estu Delights mobile bar. Just back.
Okay, a bar. Okay. And when you feel like quitting, when you feel like giving up, what keeps you going?
My mother.
Who is one
Yeah,
Sierra Leonean, dead or alive, who inspires you?
my mother. Asia too. Asia to say then, but they call him Estu Enterprises. Growing up, Naina be the
Oh, is
only
that why
female
your brand is
contractor.
Estu Delight?
Yes, growing up, she was
Aw,
the only
that is
female contractor that I know.
lovely.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is really
so for me,
beautiful.
I remember one time I get a huge order from a multinational company. We be they do the smoothies and juices that will just start. Now they lights go. Waiting me go do. A term don't they beat me. How we go able to supply this? So it was devastating at that moment. I don't even think. I'm like, oh my God, this is a huge opportunity. This is a multinational company. They get guested or can wait to make it for do. I had to take all my things. I go find one police station we get solar power. Now there I go, I beg there, I tell me employee they do a lot cleaner. then I go mix me juice then they I mix me juice then they later I test all the police then one bottle
Wow.
and every day we are like everybody are sitting for come back tomorrow for come make you juice then. So yeah, yeah. So for me,
Listen,
it's my mother. May her soul rest
you
in
gotta do what
peace.
you gotta
But
do.
may her soul rest in peace. But for me, it was service for her. And what I did do not to just but me. As to the light, still not able to begin pay me it, but it's about my community. I think this is needed in Freetown, in needed in Sierra Leone. Now we write for able for drink healthy and nutritious drinks. All man just they drink fizzy drinks and all that kind of thing that they will not they add any benefit to our body where we get the produce there. It's a lot to do all the processing. It's really a distorted supply chain, but I think so with effort, with passion, and if the community supports the business, I think we can get there eventually. Yeah.
And I believe you. And I know that you're not just going to take and grow your own company. I know that you're going to make room at the table for others' growth as well, because you're just that kind of
Yeah.
person. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast. It's been delightful to have you here, Estu Delight. Thank you, Haja. Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you
See you
so
next
much.
time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vickie, for this
Ta-ta.
opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast. Until next time, ta-ta!